Today on Craft Club for Kids, we're going to make this easy and quick owl craft. Here it is. Okay, to get started, you're going to need some supplies. You're going to need some scissors. You're going to need a pencil. You're also going to need some glue and some paper. You can see here I have black that I'm going to be using and white for my eyes, some yellow for the beak and the feet, and I'm using this kind of purplish color for my owl. Now you choose the color you would like for your owl. Doesn't matter what color, but you can see here when you use your paper, you have to be able to roll it over. So whatever size you have, just make sure you can kind of roll it over so it kind of looks like this little cylinder. Once you can roll over your paper, then we're going to cut it to the right size. Now, if you have a non-standard measurement, which is just like your hand, you can just use your hand, put it on one side of the paper, go right to your thumb and just put a little tick. That will be the width. If you don't have that and you prefer a ruler or you're uncomfortable with using your hand, you can just use centimeters, and here I'm starting at 0 and just putting a little tick at about 8 centimeters. So you decide whether you want to use your hand or a ruler. Now I have that little tick and I'm going to put a line all the way down my page starting from the top to the bottom. So you can put a line just using a freehand, but if you're not comfortable with that, you can also use your ruler. So use your ruler, line it up at the tick, and then just draw a straight line. And once you have that long straight line, all you're going to do is cut that out. And then you're going to have this long rectangle. Once you have your rectangle, you're going to go to the top of your rectangle and you're going to grab your pencil, and in the corner, you're going to draw a diagonal line. So in the left-hand corner, draw a diagonal line and then a straight line coming across and another diagonal line coming up to the right-hand corner. So diagonal, straight across to the right, and then diagonal up again to the other side. Once you have those lines drawn, you're going to cut that out. So those are going to be the ears. So you're just going to cut those, and there you have it. Next, you are going to make sure that you can roll it again. So remember how we rolled before? So see how I'm rolling it over? So we are going to roll that and we're going to glue it. So just make sure you can roll it and then you are going to glue it. So once you're comfortable with that rolling motion, just want to practice first and put a little bit of glue. I put it right by the ears. So just underneath those ears, I put a little bit of glue, and then when I roll it over, I will stick it right below those ears. So here we go again. I'm rolling, and then I'm just going to put my fingers down on that top of that glue and just kind of squish, 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 squish so that it sticks. So the ears are sticking out, but I've still rolled and I have my cylinder. I'm going to put that aside and we are going to grab our yellow piece of paper. We're going to make some feet. So I'm going to fold my yellow piece of paper over. If you don't have yellow, use whatever color you have. I'm going to grab my pencil. I'm going to start at the bottom of my piece of paper and I'm going to draw a straight line. Then I'm going to jump over and draw another straight line. So it's kind of like a rectangle without a top. Then I'm going to draw another diagonal line and then come in. So almost like a little triangle. A triangle at the top and a diagonal line and another diagonal line. So you can see I have kind of like 3 triangles that are beside each other, and then I'm going to cut that out. If you can't do feet like that, that's okay. Do feet whatever way you would like. This is your owl. Now, because I folded it, I now have 2 feet. I'm going to use that yellow piece of paper again. I'm going to unfold it, just make a little triangle at the top. This is going to be our beak, and I'm going to cut it out. Mine's fairly small. You can make your triangle whatever size you would like. Then we're going to move on to the white piece of paper. So the white piece of paper I'm folding over again. I'm going to draw a circle. Now, if you happen to have a glue stick and you have a lid, just use that as your tracer. If not, just draw a circle for your eye. I want it to be fairly big. So there's my eye. And because I have it folded, I am going to cut it out once and end up with 2 of them. Now, if it doesn't work for you, just make sure that you cut out 2 big white eyes that are the same size. So there, I have 2 of my eyes. Then I'm going to grab my black piece of paper. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to actually use that lid again. And I'm going to trace. Now, the only problem is I want it to be a tiny bit smaller. So even though I traced it, I just want to cut it so that it's going to be a tiny bit smaller than that. Now, what you'll do is put it on top of your white circle. Now see how it's not quite smaller? That's okay. All I do is put them back together and I'm going to trim again. So I just want a tiny little bit of an edge around the outside. I'm going to try it again. See how I have a tiny little white showing around and mostly there's black? That's what I want. So just keep going until that works for you. Once that works, keep that white piece of paper folded and draw a tiny little circle and cut that out. If it didn't work, remember you just need 2 of them. So you're going to have 2 little tiny circles. And then once you're happy with the size of all your circles, these are just going to be little ones, you're going to glue them. So I'm going to take that black circle, glue it on top of my white one. Remember, if it didn't work, just keep going until it works. Then I'm going to glue my tiny little white one right in there, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You'll notice my white one isn't glued right in the middle. I kind of glue it over a little bit to one side. So I just like to put it over a little bit to one side. I want those to look the same. Then I am going to grab my cylinder again, my little body that we made. Remember the top? So right at the top, I'm going to glue, so right near those ears, I'm going to glue my eyes. So I'm going to take one and glue it on one side, and then I'm going to take the other one and glue it on the other side. Don't worry if it rolls over a little bit, so you can see mine rolls over. It will stop in a little bit. Let's put our beak on. We're going to put our beak right in the middle. I put the flat part at the top and the pointy part pointing down, and then our feet. So I'm going to put some glue on here, and this is where it will stop from rolling. So put a little bit of glue at the bottom, and this will stop our little guy from rolling, and there you go. And you can see I have an owl in different colors. Thank you for joining me on Craftly Cup for Kids. Remember, be creative and have fun.